This is Design Futurecast. I'm Lorena Lehman. In this fourth episode, the design experiment and result that we will investigate is called Interspace. It is a 3D print model and can be seen at designfuturecast.com/episode 4. So I'm standing here outside looking at a sculpture that's nestled between some buildings, and it's really interesting. The tools used to create this sculpture have an impact on its final result, of course. So that leads me to wonder about digital sculpture, digital 3D modeling, and how we can use a chisel within the computer, so to speak. How can the mouse become a tool that becomes even more of an extension of our hands to help sculpt and mold certain geometries and volumes? So instead of seeing 3D digital modeling as geometries that are built upon one another using wireframes, what if they become solids or more solid-like, where we can use the mouse to sculpt and subtract from those volumes? So it'll be interesting to explore this in this next design creation. Working on this Interspace design model was really exciting. My initial intention for this one was an exploration on the morphology of form, using curving mesh geometries that are formed through creative action. In other words, the action of my mouse within the computer model becomes the sculptor of form in real time. My intention was to capture organic motion through form, even digitally, that becomes like a snapshot of its continuing behavioral language. You can think of it like the wind moving through the leaves and branches of a big tree, changing its form in real time, and then capturing a photo snapshot of its behavior, which then freezes its motion in time. So this led to the design method and workflow where I used SketchUp and V-Ray for rendering as I strive to work with my initial design vision while also working to push the tools further in creating this snapshot of sculpted behavioral form. Like painting, where I use my own physical energy to create a brush stroke of varying intensities, I used my computer mouse to sculpt the 3D mesh. And this was a very interesting exercise because as I used my own energy, my own physical energy, to push the mouse along, I could see the motion of this energy being embedded in the form itself. So this was an exciting process to use and to create a design through digital computer workflows. So interestingly, this design resulted in the sculpted form standing as an artifact of the creative action used to create this model's undulating surface. So the white, smooth, but sometimes angular curves show how motion can travel through form, where new motions are introduced over time, to create a new aesthetic and functional morphologies. This led to very interesting design questions. This sculpted model asks, what if, for the design of a building, the occupants' needs, goals, and behaviors all influence the architectural space and subsequent building form? And how can architecture be improved if the activities going on within the building morph the exterior form in varying ways? So what happens when the actual occupants' motions, activities, and behaviors take part in how the architecture expresses itself and its own behavioral language through its design? Essentially, what if an architecture could improve over time, so as people move about the building could transiently move to renew function, beauty, and meaning through its motion? Of course, there are certain design conclusions and impacts that this has, particularly for your own creative work. So in this light, architecture and other design types that take on these qualities become malleable in a way that allows them to move in new directions, both literally and figuratively. So for your artistic or design projects, ask yourself, does my creation remain static after I've finished creating it? Or is there a way for it to interact with its viewer, participant, or inhabitant? This means that you could dive more deeply into design personalization, design interaction and responsiveness, or even new types of design collaboration, where you, the artist or designer, begin the project and invite public participants to complete it through their own interactions. Now, of course, all of this has implications for the 21st century in terms of application. It seems that we need to think more seriously about design collaboration, personalization, and responsiveness, not only in terms of how these design types can be used to uplift quality of life, but also in terms of how the role of the artist or designer is evolving. Perhaps when one paints a painting and makes it public, the viewer of that painting completes it through their own unique perception. But now in the 21st century, it is possible to create designs that allow viewers, participants, or inhabitants to engage with the creative work, to take on a more active role in helping it to better meet their own needs. For your own creative works, it may be helpful to think of considering not only your own evolving role as the design creator, but also to think about how you can push the role of the viewer, participant, or inhabitant in ways that bring even greater value to them. Yes, the morphology of form is important to innovate during the creation workflow process. But then ask yourself, can it be further expanded and enhanced by allowing for such morphology to also be triggered by the persons you created the design for? This makes for quite an interesting creative challenge that I invite you to take on. If you would like to delve deeper into discovering even more great insights to improve your own creative vision and design decision-making, then visit marialorenalehman.com. Discover leading-edge books, courses, and more designs to help you grow your creative genius. All of this and more awaits you at marialorenalehman.com.